Well, hello, hello. Good to see everybody. Welcome on out. Welcome to the special afternoon stream. As we were live all day, we spent a good portion of the second half of the show talking about everything that's happening today with Kris Tyson from MrBeast. And we had Keemstar on. We talked about it pretty much all afternoon. It was a very riveting conversation, well, at least this morning. And pretty much right after the show ended, we got news about 20 minutes ago that Kris Tyson has made a statement over on X, which we're going to read here in just a little bit, as well as kind of the fallout from this. But I thought it'd be important to, do a stream as opposed to a video, which, this may turn into a video as well, but who knows? But either way, Savvy will be joining me very shortly as well. So Sav will be popping in just a second. And speak of the devil, here she is. Hi, Sav.
Hello. Speak of the devil indeed.
Yes, there she is. The devil is here. She has joined us. Great to see you. How's everything going?
Great, or at least it was.
How
are you?
What do you mean? What do you mean it was?
Well, it was great until somebody put out a statement. Now I'm just confused.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get into it and talk about this here. I'm glad you're hanging out. Dan Vask is currently in the shower. Good Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, cover your eyes. Dan Vask is here with a glowing mane of insanity. Hold on, what is this? You need to restart the stream. The image is horrific. Which me or Sav? Sav is wonderful. You can
No, it's okay. I'm a hot mess.
It's okay. Me too. Yeah. So doing a little, I haven't done things like this before, like an emergency second stream, because things haven't happened. It's not even a really emergency, but it's, I thought it'd be worth going live to talk about this since we spent so much of the show talking about this. This has been an ongoing story the last few days. And the question has been, Sav, when is someone going to say anything? When is MrBeast going to say anything? When is Kris Tyson going to say anything? And Kris Tyson has spoken up. Sav, you've been following this pretty close. I think we actually referenced one of your tweets about this. What's your thoughts about this whole situation before we get into Kris Tyson's statement?
I think that the entertainment industry as a whole, and YouTube is part of it, needs to stop being full of disgusting people. And I don't care what somebody's immutable traits are. I don't care how somebody identifies. Every single person should be able to look at somebody who does something bad and say, that's bad.
Man, it's almost like you're a normal man, Sav.
Almost, just a little bit. I got some things that make me a little abnormal, but, I'm like on the cusp.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, this is, you do have some abnormalities to you, but that's also what makes you normal at the same time, right? For those of you wondering where Blabs is welcome to join, but her obligations for the day are done, so I just kind of let her be. But but Blabs, if you're watching, feel free to pop in. If you want to pop in, you know how to get here. So yeah, I'm sure we're going to talk about this on Tuesday night's main event here in a little bit. But a quick recap: over the weekend, there was this, or really starting yesterday during our show, there was an avalanche of news that came down about Kris Tyson, now known as Ava. I'll let you guys connect the dots on that, how we got there. About listen, Sav, I don't know a whole lot about what lolly is. This is not in my wheelhouse. Please fill, like, this is like kitty animated bad stuff, right?
So no,
okay.
lolly is not inherently bad. Lolly actually refers to a body type of a character.
Okay.
So lolly is typically described as having a more youthful appearance. I actually would be described as having a lolly body because I am flat chested. I don't have incredible hips, and I'm pretty straight torsoed, honestly.
Okay.
I also frequently get carded to go into casinos and bars and everything like that. So that is like how you translate lolly to the real world in a sense.
Okay.
But the people who participate and enjoy lolly are not always insane individuals who cannot differentiate between reality and fiction, right? So unfortunately, there is an overlap for predators who enjoy lolly art, but that's because they're not looking at it as an escapist form of art. They're looking at it as a reflection of reality.
Okay. All right. I get carded all the time when I go out as well, Saf.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh, sure. Thanks, Saf. Appreciate that. Liar. I'm the Icarus came in and says, stop being evil and or creepy challenge. Impossible for many in entertainment, apparently. Yes, it's amazing how that works out. It's just all you got to do is be a normal man. Well, let's get into this.
Oh, I should also add too, just because something is classified as lolly does not mean that it has been drawn sexually. You can have lolly characters that are, most lolly art is very innocent. I should preface that too. It has nothing to do with hentai, which is the porn side of things. Just so that way we're clear too, in case that wasn't obvious.
Well, a lot of the information that's come out about Kris Tyson is they've been looking at the not so innocent side of this, as well as communicating with children. Let's just be clear. I hate saying the term minors. It's children. Was talking with children when they were an adult in a very not good way. So yeah, here we are. We're ready to go. Let's check out this for the first time. I just kind of glanced at it, but it seems like it's pretty standard, pretty basic. Here we go. It says, I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we've recently mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things MrBeast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. And there you are. If I hurt or offended anyone. It's funny you mentioned that. I'll let you kind of say that in your own words, so I don't have to say it for you. But feel free, fire away.
Yeah. So I just responded quickly. If it hurt or offended anyone, you aren't sorry. You got caught. Why is a grown man talking hentai with a child? Which, by the way, there's picture evidence of that. You are not a victim. Your mental health is irrelevant because you've spoken to children without an appropriate filter. What else have you said privately, given what you've said publicly? And again, those were all based off of screenshots, which have been circulating for a while. And then there were even more screenshots of more questionable things now that we have more context. The biggest thing is literally what else is being said privately when he felt it was completely normal running a basically kids-friendly channel with somebody to say those things to children.
Well, you mentioned you sent this in the DMs. This is I've not seen this yet. I don't believe. It says an anonymous user has come out overnight posting screenshots of him and MrBeast member Kris Tyson texting. Kris sent many sexual messages when he was 18, and the anonymous user was 14. Is this like? So
that's somebody else from last. So there was somebody else who came out from Snapchat last night. After the lava stuff happened. So there's lava. Yeah. There was an anonymous person last night through Snapchat, and now there's text messages.
Okay.
So this is now another person.
So are these safe to look at here?
I actually don't know. Okay. I don't know how explicit they get. I can preview it really quickly. My friend actually sent it to me on Telegram.
Okay. Well, you go take a look at that real quick. See if it's worth actually really digging into. But the idea that like an 18-year-old would be like chatting with a 14-year-old, like friendly anyways, is still kind of weird. I realize that there's like, it's just no. So we've seen the statement from Kris Tyson, but what about MrBeast? Has MrBeast said anything about this? The answer is no. MrBeast has not said anything about this. If you look through his timeline, just his latest thing about Kevin Hart right there. The response to this has been, pretty exactly what you'd expect. This is from the quartering. MrBeast is fired, and there was nothing mutual about it. His trans co-host and massive grooming allegations after massive grooming allegations drop. There's a lot of questions here. We had Keemstar on today, Sav, and I know you're previewing that, but I'll just kind of continue. We had Keemstar on. He was talking about how he has relationships with Beast and Kris, and the thought was if Kris left, he could potentially have some ownership actually in the company. So he may have been bought out, or even something actually that may be bigger here is that he may have broke some sort of clause in his contract, a morality clause, which is in most major contracts. If you own a portion of a company, there's chances are there's a morality clause in there. And if that did happen, Sav, if there's something like this that could damage the brand or something along those lines, that could void ownership in the company and any sort of payout that you may get.
Yes, which hopefully that is the case, because I don't believe somebody who is like this, who shows poor judgment with children, should be able to profit off of child's content. Also, so the text messages would actually be worth looking at, especially the last message where the person requests remaining anonymous. But it is very questionable language that you do not say to a child, and it shows the power dynamic. And this is why Lava's saying, "Oh, he didn't groom me." Obvious, like, it just continues to add further proof. Like, children do not know when they are being groomed.
Okay, so should we look at these, or are they?
Yeah, I mean, I can just read it off too, really quickly.
Sure, I'll pull it up, make sure we're looking at the same thing here.
Yeah, so there's the 3 videos and then a still image.
Okay, here's the first one right here.
The community, somebody is trying to community note it, claiming that the clips are likely fake. Old DMs have the dates, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So just take these with a grain of salt, because they haven't necessarily been verified. But typically what happens in these kinds of situations is, as more people come out, other people tend to come out as well. So,
right. It just takes one. Takes one. For sure.
Exactly. So he basically says, so the kid was 13 turning 14 during this conversation. And Kris is asking, "You don't want anything expensive for your birthday? I could spoil you. I can introduce you to the MrBeast team when you're older."
Wow.
So he's Snapchatting. By the way, this is an adult. This is somebody who's classified as an adult at the time, who has been shown to be Snapchatting with multiple children. Children do not belong on Snapchat. I think Snapchat needs to change the rules and make it 18 plus. That way parents know. But there is no reason for a child to be able to have access to peer-to-peer text communication without the adult present.
Yeah, this is creepy as shit. The idea that an 18-year-old kid saying to a 13-year-old, "I can spoil you." Fucking gross, man. Yeah. Disgusting. Okay, so we continue here. Let's see. Nothing has the video turned out good. I can barely screen time. I wish I could watch more. I wish I was in a video.
Me too.
It's too soon, though. I could introduce you to everyone when you get a little bit older. That would be awesome. Your birthday's coming up, isn't it? Yeah, December 2nd. Turning 14.
So they have 13 years time.
I don't know where the party's going to be. My mom is still deciding. What do you want? I could give you anything. We could play Fortnite.
Like, look how innocent that is. That is a literal child.
This is like fire up the fucking wood chipper right here. Like, don't even let it get to full speed. So he's like, whoo, man, I'm going to get banned on YouTube if I continue that thought. But the fact that he presses here is the worst thing about it, right? Like, the idea, when's your birthday coming up? How old are you turning? What do you want? I can get you, I could give you anything. You don't want anything for your birthday? I could spoil you. Fuck this guy. Oh that my God.
Shit. Like, I hated that language from grown men. And to use that on a child, like, because all it is like, it's reinforcing a power dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not coming from a loving place.
Look at this. We've been here for a while. I'm tired. Texting you is the only thing keeping me awake right now. When you leave, we could play Fort. Or I love you. He said, I love playing Minecraft with you. Fucking weirdo, man. Oh my God. Unreal. Golly, what a creep. Here is another. Once again, this is all allegations.
Yeah.
If it's true, he's a that's a dad.
It follows the pattern of conversation, though. It follows his speech mannerisms based off of the stuff that's already been verified. So that's just why it's worth bringing up. But otherwise, again, take it with a grain of salt. This is not verified. The person wants to remain anonymous for obvious reasons.
Yeah, and they said that as much. They said, "I would like to stay anonymous, but Kris Tyson was texting me back in 2020 when I was 14. I'm 18 now. I commented on one of his tweets. He saw it and messaged me. When I was young, I couldn't see how he was grooming and manipulating me, but looking back at it, I can see." Oh my God. That is man, I want to do bad things in Minecraft right now, because this motherfucker has a kid. He has a kid and a wife
and
he's out here fucking. Oh my
he put
God.
heels on and then shared it publicly.
Unreal. Demi came in and says, "Sweet, glad they're leaving after this stuff." Yeah, Jason is a brand new member. Hey, thanks, Jason. Appreciate your support. It's awesome. Alan came in, says, "Maps to the wall or wood chipper." To be honest, thanks, Alan. Emperor Creatine says, "Classic. I'm sorry you were offended." Response: These people are never sorry they transgressed. They're only sorry they get caught. To the wood chipper in Minecraft. Demi followed up, says, "By the way, my super chat on the stream earlier was under the intention Razor would immediately debunk it with his excellent humor. Timing on it when it loaded kind of sucked." I'm sorry, Demi. Sorry about that. Kronos came in, says, "Sorry, Savvy, but you can't be lolly. It can only be fictional." Okay, but as you say, it's a body type and can separate from a sexy thing. It's mostly cute. Nathan says, "Saying lolly is equivalent to corn is like saying people who play Sonic games are furries. The weirdos don't represent the entire fandom." Okay, thanks, Nathan. Koa came in, says, "Getting real tired of people being caught with this type of BS and getting away with it. Scott's free." I think that's actually really important, is that, like, there were allegations and they were substantiated by Lava. I mean, they more or less said, like, this is what happened. So I mean, it's at that point, it's allegations, I guess, till somebody gets in trouble. But at the same time, something has to be done here, right? And people can't keep getting away with this nonsense. Like, where are we at in society where these fucking sickos who are all about grooming kids, like, when they're all about that and there's zero punishment associated with it? It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
The worst part is, so I know people are, cancel culture is a hot topic, but we've never truly had cancel culture. What people talk about, and like when people lose their job, that's not cancel culture. I don't know if people understand where it comes from. It used to be a manner of self-policing for communities where police officers would not go. So a community would get together and prevent an individual from literally participating in society. They could not shop, they could not eat. That is what real canceling is. And people like this deserve to be canceled because he is not sorry for the behavior, and the behavior would have continued if he didn't get caught. So
100% agree. 100% agree. You can see some of the responses here. This is from Kongman, who was on the show just a couple days ago. He says, "You aren't sorry for your actions. You're sorry you got caught. Maybe you should stay away from your family too if you're just going to groom your son like you did the other boys." Which, God.
And this is the shit that pisses me off the absolute most. This is probably going to be one of the few times where I do make a more, I don't know, somebody could call this controversial or inflammatory. I consider it common sense. Children want the approval and the praise of their fucking parents. I'm sorry, but they do. And everything else, whatever he's done. Yeah, I know. Like, it can be to some, but like, I don't give a shit. Like, children want to please their parents. They want the love. They want the praise. They want to be told that they're doing something good. That child did not choose the fucking heels. And the fact that was shared, like, that image upsets me so much. Did the child show interest in heels before that? Probably not. It's only after the fact that he's suddenly announcing that he's a woman. And I don't care if people mistake this as hate for an entire community. It's not. Fuck anybody who puts their fucking bullshit on their kids. The child, you are there. You lose. I don't have a kid yet, but I will. But you do not get to imprint your sick shit on a child. All right. If you want to dress up as a woman, go for it. If you want to tell your child, hey, you know what? Clothes are just clothes. And if you like what you like, cool. But at the same time, instill a fucking standard in them. There's still societal standards. They're not bad. It doesn't make you a bad person just because your kid wants to run around in high tops and you want to wear high heels. Who cares? All right. Your child should have some semblance of normalcy. And if your normalcy is sickness, stay the fuck away from them.
Alex Rosen, who love it. Go fucking crazy. I love everything about it. Alex Rosen, who catches these freaks in person, like live. He has the Twitter handle I Fight for Kids points out the insane hypocrisy of this. Focus on my mental health. Like, this is a man who is dressing up like a woman. You know, tell me about your mental. Maybe you should have focused on your mental health a little bit earlier there, pal. Just
tell me about those regressive mental health issues where you rely on stereotypes for a particular society to decide what the fuck you are. Fuck off. I'm sorry. I'm really angry about this.
Hey, Sav, go crazy. This is an area that we can talk about this, hopefully until YouTube boots us off.
It's just so frustrating because, like, the more that, like, it just gets repeated, like, I need to focus on my mental health. Fuck off.
Yeah. What about the kids' mental health that you fucked over, huh? That you screwed with, that doesn't think you. It's unbelievable. My brother chimed in 5 times August. You bailed on your family, creep. Your wife and kids are better off without you. Don't disagree. I like the fact that she stayed with him through this. I mean, it must be. I don't know the lady, but I don't know how you could possibly stand with that dude in this situation, especially with this. Like, especially you have a fucking child.
The public lolly stuff too, like supporting that weird sick artist. I don't know if everybody's caught up on that, but that individual drew like sexual images of a real child, of Keem's daughter. Like,
that's unbelievable.
That's messed up. That is the kind of thing that a woman should not support. Like, if my husband supported an artist who was drawing real people's children in sexual manners, no, there would be so much concern there.
Right.
That would be terrifying. That is instant red flag for predatory behavior, that something is unwell. Like, I understand that, like, I have a whole thing about, I'm against censorship, but there is a line, and in American law, you are not allowed to draw a real human child in that manner. And again, only a sick person would kind of do something like that.
This is obviously a sick person.
Yeah.
Some quick super chats real quick before we get into Jake the Viking, what he said about this, which, whew, man, he's been on this he's been on this for a while. And, like I said, talked to Jake several times. We were on Tuesday night's main event together. We've DM'd a few times. But he has been very outspoken about this. But before we do, Demi says, mind if I have a link to those? I think I'm going to file a report to the FBI right now. If you can, I can send you my Twitter if need be. Thanks, Demi. I'll tweet those out. And that Savvy sent. Minor came in and says, I want to know what MrBeast knew, right? And why he hasn't made a statement yet, or at least retweeted it. Hypnotic came in and says, this monster is like Damon Mills of Funimation. Not familiar with that situation, but the fact that, like, we're drawing comparisons between these sick freaks is bad enough. That's crazy. Angel says, looking at Damon Mills, groomer, voice actor. Thank you very much, Angel. Mercenary says, so this morning's super chat will be read later. Yeah, I'm going to do my best to read those at another time for sure. Koa says, I support Savvy and Craig popping off. I can't do it since I'm at work. Well, you can live vicariously through us right now, because we are as incensed as you are with this. Shane says, I'm with you, Sav. I've been a pharmacist for almost 10 years now, and I never thought the medical field would lead to this type of sickness. Chris's child and ex-wife are honestly blessed to be away from him. And Demi came back, says, as a 3D artist who does furry stuff, I've had kids try to contact me, and it would creep me out. They'd ask to commission me for sick fetish content. What? I always block them, but, like, why are these kids asking for this stuff? Yeah. Gross. Cryptic says we need to bring back mental asylums. I got somebody that we're talking about today that could probably make their way to a mental asylum, and the world will be a better place. Decker says, legs first, Craig, with the chipper. Nice, Abby. Ooh.
That ooh.
All right, so what does Jake the Viking say about this? Once again, he was a former member of MrBeast, coming off quote tweeting. This is the drama alert tweet from this. He simply just says, hurt or offend anyone. Like, yeah, like, of course you hurt and offend people. That's crazy. And then he followed up with this: no accountability, none. It's like, nope. And he also said, oh, in response directly, pathetic. So that's where we're at right now. It's obvious that people have, I mean, I think he speaks for all of us in this situation. It's disgusting.
I think there's some important context to bring up. So other than just Jake working for MrBeast previously, publicly, back when Dr. Disrespect, I think when that was all happening, there was a tweet, and this is what prompted actually Kris Tyson to delete all of his tweets. He made a statement to Jake trying to accuse him of something that was completely false. That led to Jake getting death threats and terrible commentary. But that was when he deleted all of his tweets. Kris did.
That's actually a really good point. Yes, because Jake and Kris are not on the same page on this by any means. And I think man, I wish we could talk about that. There are things that, that have been seen behind the scenes that, let's just say, this is par for the fucking course, right? When it comes to Kris. Kris is a piece of shit. And based off, this is based off of, everybody who's had interaction with this person says the same thing. They're a piece of shit, right? Keemstar said it earlier today. Like, this is par for the course for Kris, right? And it's like, what do you expect? This is a broken person here. Speaking of, Melanie came in with this, says, I'm stepping away to focus on my family. Do you mean the family you abandoned so you could pretend to be a woman? Right. It's like, could you imagine that statement being said 5 years ago, Saf? Just like that statement as a whole. It's like, how fucking in a ass backwards of a world are we living in right now that is a thing? And she's right. Now, we've had an ongoing, we've talked earlier today about the response or lack of response from a lot of people who work with MrBeast. There was the Pokimane response that came at during our show, and she was kind of like, oh, well, I don't know all the information. And there's a lot of that. And these are the same people who were like crucified Dr. Disrespect, right? And you brought this up earlier, the parallels between the two situations. But I'm curious to see how they respond now, because they were like, well, I want to see, I think Pokimane in particular was saying something along the lines of, I want to see Ava's response to this. Well, Kris has now responded. So how will you respond?
If it's anything less than a yuck and I'm concerned for his child, she can fuck right off.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I hear that as well. Yeah. But we can continue here. So here, by the way, here was the original. This was her statement, and it just drives me fucking up the wall. I don't know all the details regarding the Ava situation, but I want to make it clear. Any inappropriate behavior towards minors is unacceptable, regardless of who you are. It's a shame that people will see this as an opportunity to attack the trans community as a whole. One person's action does not reflect on every single trans person. So please don't view it that way. Like,
this is coming from the same person who would happily demonize white male gamers.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to
or the
shoot
chuds or incels or whatever.
Yes. Right. Mr. Goa says, let that anger flow and give you power. And then Philip came in as a brand new member. Thanks so much, Philip. Appreciate that. Benjathan also says, Shadman also drew his mother. I don't even know what that means. Oh, a sexual manner?
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, thanks, Benjamin, for that. Now, there have been other people have been like, hey, what are your thoughts on all this stuff when it comes to their favorite creator, right? We Moist Critical kind of caught a little bit of heat by not putting a video on his main channel as just on a secondary channel. And Hassan was asked about it as well. I don't know if you've seen this, Sav. Do you know who Hassan is?
Unfortunately.
Okay. He was asked to talk about it as well, and rejected that to half court. Here it is, right here.
MrBeast Kris. Think about this. This is no different than the Cody Ko shit where people were just like, hey, I know that the current sitting president dropped out of the re-election campaign in the most historic thing that has happened in this election cycle, in a sea of historic things that have happened so far. Has Hassan talked about MrBeast Kris? Oh no, don't ban me. Just a question. I'm not going to ban you. I do want you to really think about it though. As a political commentator, do you think personally that right now I'm going to be talking about YouTubers? If it was someone you hate, you'd be talking about them? There are plenty of people I hate. And I don't talk about them in times like this because unfortunately for you fucking weirdo drama perverts, okay? Unfortunately for you, there are 50,000 other adults here that actually are coming in here for political
I love the idea that he was like you're the weirdo. You're the weirdo for wanting to hear my thoughts on this.
How is it not political commentary and relevant to not talk about the absolute largest global YouTuber who has an audience of children?
I 1,000,000% agree. Actually, before we went live, someone said, "Oh, you guys are turning into drama alert." I was like, this is literally the largest entertainer in the entire world, with like the largest platform, way bigger than Disney, way bigger. Like this guy has more sway than pretty much any major company in the world.
Somehow.
So, right. So we're not going to talk about it. You're kidding me. That's insane. So he refused to talk about it. Now, the one thing that people have been bringing up a lot was this video by Sunny V2. Are you familiar with this video, Madam Savvy?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have to see it.
So about a year ago, this is a YouTuber with 4 million subscribers, a very large channel, who they do like documentary style content, but it's mostly about other YouTubers. That's kind of their thing. So they did a video about a year ago called "How Will the Kris Tyson Situation Impact MrBeast?" And they got destroyed by this. Like their channel went up in flames for a couple of days, right? It's obviously hence recovered. But if you look at the ratio associated with this, very big amount of downvotes down here compared to upvotes. And this has changed over time, right? It's funny. I want to actually scroll down to the yeah, here we go. They hate him because he told the truth. They hate him because he was right. Everyone needs to stop that this posting this age well, or we owe. Yes, right. Can't open that enough, right? So, Sav, if you have a minute, do you want to watch this video to kind of see what he said back then?
Yeah.
Okay, let's check this out to see how well this is aged. Let's check it out.
The Kris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast's brand. However, it also provides some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama.
Can we just stop for a second? How fucking ridiculous does that look? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Again, it's also relying on stereotypes dictated by the particular society that he participates in to decide the fashion choice that apparently should or should not define what a gender is. This is also one of my biggest issues with this.
Did he grow up like watching Blossom? It's like, like that's what he looks like, a character from 1992 sitcom Blossom, of all things. Sorry, drive me crazy.
I don't know. Most self-respecting women generally buy clothing that's flattering for their body.
Right.
So,
well, as
what do I know?
He as a woman would definitely know that for sure. But here we go. Let's continue.
Over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Kris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential Southern gun and truck-loving dude. Yet beginning in March 2022, Kris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech." Additionally, Kris would highlight that his facial appearance appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, okay, so in 4 different customs, I had to prove I was myself because I, quote, look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?
You know, up until this second right now, and hearing that, the idea that pre-pandemic and then post-pandemic, like like the pandemic, that was 4 years ago now. And it really did a number on a lot of people who, you know, people who were left on their own accord. They weren't allowed to socialize and you know, had a really people off themselves. They unalived themselves all the time during COVID, something that isn't talked about enough, right? The negative mental health impact of COVID. And that by itself, just here I was at the start of COVID, here I am now. Something changed in there. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, most of those people are just not prepared to actually talk about the actual problem. They just want to go along with it, sweep it under the rug, and claim like, "Oh, I'm free now." Like, no, depression is at an all-time high, and it's directly related to the way that things were handled because we are a social species, and just socializing online is not enough. It also creates weird echo chambers, and to the impressionable and mentally immature, they're able to basically have their brains think that things that would not be okay are suddenly okay. And it's not acknowledging something is not okay does not mean that it's inherently bad or you're evil. It's not what that means at all. It's just if you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, you need to acknowledge it so that way you can either work around it or find the best possible solution.
Let's go and continue here to see how this changes. And once again, this video, I mean, he got wrecked when this video first came out. And now it's just looking like, yeah, nailed it.
Prompting replies such as, you went from man to boy.
Hey, Josiah. There's Josiah right there.
Responded by stating, nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better. Yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Kris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled I Strapped a GoPro to a Fish, in which Kris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, Kris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother. Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Kris's nails. Kris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the...
And if you say that now, you're transphobic, right? Like, so stupid, so dumb. It's insane. Ian came in with 10 gifted memberships. Man, Ian, thank you so much. That's massive. Ooh, woo, indeed. If you guys got a gifted membership, make sure you say thank you. Consider paying it forward. Fantastic, Mr. Knox says, what's kind of amusing is seeing Kris Tyson getting the trans community mad and calling him out for the PDF file. Guy's done. Tweet that at me, Fantastic, Mr. Knox, because I think that's important. Like I said, you're an adult. Do whatever you want. Just don't fuck with kids, right? He should be called out. He absolutely should be called out because this has nothing to do with him. Like, is it really fucking weird that he's like this? Yes. But it's worse. Like, if you want to dress however you want, that's fine. When you want to put your little kid in heels, that's when I have issues.
Yeah. Yeah. And the people tweeting things like this is going to set the trans community back decades. Like, shut the fuck up. If all of you on Twitter, instead of giving a shit about that, saying, hey, he's a shitty person, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And guess what? Everybody will stand together and be like, yeah, you're right. He is a shitty person. Cool. Like, we agree with that. Very cool. The reason why they struggle on Twitter is because they'd rather protect a shitty person because of an identity instead of just disassociating from the shitty person. It's not hard. I want to associate with shitty people.
Just saying, hey, like if someone's a shithead, just call him a shithead. That's really simple, you know. It's amazing how that works out.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's go and continue here.
The video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating how did Kris go from this to this, while others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now, this was pretty ridiculous as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Kris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Kris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Kris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Kris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Kris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Kris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Kris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Kris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders. Kris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and MrBeast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers...
So they, this is, by the way, MrBeast wants to run for president one day with this. So, I said this the other day, how do we get to a clown world, right? And I think really what it comes down to is there were somewhere along the lines, Sav, and maybe I'm off on this, somewhere along the lines, someone was like, "I think I'm a girl," right? And they went to their friend and they said, "I think I'm a girl." And it's a guy, right? And, or vice versa. Somewhere along the line, someone said that and they presented it to their friend or maybe their boss or something, right? And they didn't know how to handle it. So it was one of those things where they kind of touched it with, gloves, with white gloves. They're like, "Oh, okay, that's great." Instead of being like, "Hey, guess what? You're not," like, "Hey, man," instead of like being a good friend and being honest with them, they pussyfooted around it. And then it was like, well, they accept me. And then the dominoes started, the slippery slope started. I don't know. I would love to see patient zero of this whole mess.
Patient zero starts with a scientist in an experiment. I do not have enough of the original documentation read and committed to memory to necessarily speak on that. But what we do know is that there is a link in to a chemical imbalance in the brain. That much is definitely certain. And these people collected online over the years as the internet became more and more easy to access. And so unfortunately, more individuals who are like that were able to just live in an echo chamber. And there is a financial incentive from the medical industry, especially the cosmetic side, to play into this. I think that there are better ways to handle this because a lot of the current day justifications are based off of reductive societal stereotypes. It is not inherently feminine to paint your nails. It is in America, but there are other cultures where men wear makeup or what we would classify as dresses, things like that. And so it's difficult to have an objective discussion because the people like Kris Tyson are not coming at it from objectivity. They are coming at it from an emotionally imbalanced side because their brain chemicals are imbalanced. I think that's just the best way to put it.
Nezanek came in with the 2, says John Money is to blame for all this crap.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Dimmy came in and says, by the way, when all is said and done, play First Descendant. It's free and it's awesome. I just beat hard mode Dead Bride yesterday and I have 140 hours in it. Nice. Followed up, it says the lockdowns are pretty bad for the world and economy. Remember, people who were terminally online were always insulted prior to 2019. Mercenary says, I'm autistic and I see this as nothing but mental illness. Something went very, very wrong, and the lockdowns was planned by bad guys. Thanks, Mercenary. Master Gawa says, drama about MTF, male to female, and like magic dev appears. Thanks, Master Gawa. Demi says, I think part of why they have trouble disassociating is guys like Matt Walsh, who calls all trans people PDFs, regardless of what they do, while also advocating for lower age of consent laws like Rosh. Thank you, Demi. And Benj then says, it didn't work for 2 years due to health issues, but I could go out 5 times a week. COVID hitting was brutal. Seeing people break down broke Mum and I too. That's tough, Benj. Then I hear you, man. It broke a lot of people. Let's go to continue here.
Expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times. Kris responded to this comment by stating,
This is one of my favorite quotes that people use to describe nowadays, and it perfectly encapsulates the American society as a whole right now and any other first world nation. We have dealt away with the concept of surviving. We no longer have to hunt and gather our own foods, but our brains have not yet advanced to a part to meet the world that we are now participating in. So without routine, without actively waking with the sun the way that we used to, we are hurting our bodies when we sit and we don't do something that releases dopamine in a way that is more like when you build something, for instance, you get a dopamine release. When you go and do something hard, or you hunt something, or you feed your family with your own hands, that is rewarding. People are actively participating in dopamine release through other means now, and they're abusing that. Excessive dopamine has caused a lot of problems through either pornography, through social drama, getting the likes on Twitter, for example. There's a reason why a lot of streamers are depressed or get easily burnt out or destroy themselves. It's because they're constantly looking for that attention. So this concept where we live in a highly victimized society where people are actively looking for the next victimization title ties directly into that concept, because it's part of a dopamine release. It's part of the depression. It's trying to solve a problem without actually looking at why the problem is happening. So yes, we live in a time where it is nothing but weak men, unfortunately.
Man, and just see the response to this as well. By the way, like super based by that Evan right there. And the response here from Kris is Jesus.
It's just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love.
So here's the thing about this. Do you want to know why he misses you? Because when you leave for 2 days of filming, because you're his fucking father. That's why. It has nothing to do whether you're wearing a dress or not. It's because you're the man in his life. Because he is connected to you. Yeah. Like literally, genetics are shared. Oh my God, it drives me crazy. Sorry, just to hear this nonsense.
The man is putting himself first before his child, and it shows. Everyone can see it.
And he immediately goes on the defensive. Just more dog whistling. Just more dog. What the fuck does that even mean? Like, how about dog whistling that you're not there for your kid? How's that sound? Like that you're putting your kid in heels and oh my God, it drives me fucking crazy. Let's continue.
Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker. Kris is I can. You go first, Sav. Let me collect my thoughts, please.
There is a common link in mentally unstable individuals who will attempt to say that they are doing something for someone else because they need the moral high ground and appeal to emotion to look like a better person than what they are in truth. Every choice that he's made is selfish because if he thought about his child first, he would have worked on his marriage, he wouldn't have left his wife, and he wouldn't be putting his child in heels or doing something controversial to draw attention to his child. On top of that, if you love your child, you also wouldn't parade them around on social media in said heels as if that's somehow a choice of his. By the commentary made along with that, Tucker chose to slay today. You're showing it off because you want the validation. The child is too young to understand the concept of social media. They do not understand why somebody would like a bunch of tweets or say things. This was all for him. And he's a shit parent for it.
The sheer narcissism associated with this. The idea that, hey, no. I'm doing this for him. I'm doing this. I'm making these changes for him. What a fucking Looney Tune this guy is. I'm sorry. Like, it drives me. And I know I've seen this. I saw this video a year ago when it was released, right? But seeing this shit, especially based off what we know now about this fucker, like, this drives me up the wall to see how narcissistic this motherfucker is. I'm sorry, Sav. This is a side of me that is just you start fucking with kids, man. I will fuck you up in Minecraft. Sorry. Let's go continue before I had my head explode.
Yeah,
His
it's a little
response
hard.
received
Yeah.
some positivity, such as, I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life.
The irony of this statement is that now that's misgendering because he's no longer a father, right?
Yeah. We're still kind of unclear on what actually because a while ago, Kris said you can call me whatever you want.
Oh, that's good. Call me.
I don't know. Anybody claiming that there's misgendering going on is actually factually incorrect based off of Kris's own words, from what I remember.
As well as, I adore that, I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family.
But I'm sorry. Look at the comments. Look at the heart ratio to this compared to the one that they just shared. One.
Yeah. One
positive comment and everybody else saying, you're a fucking idiot. Sorry. Oh, God.
And took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house. A life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure? Although Kris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from MrBeast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments
and YouTube pointed out, YouTube over here.
You're glowing. You're glowing is a phrase that you describe a pregnant woman as. A fertile woman.
Disgusting. Oh my God. Once again, we encourage you guys to head over to sidescrollerspodcast.com. Head over there, become a member so we don't have to worry about YouTube revenue. Really appreciate that. All right.
also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe.
Once again, look at the hearts on that. People speaking facts.
MrBeast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life." In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Kris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent live stream titled "Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes," Kris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Kris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm right in the middle. Yeah, of course. Yes, 100%. Look, I'm glowing.
Making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my God, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind. MrBeast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Kris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly...
All right. Look, it's there. We can watch the last 3 minutes of the video, but I think this guy like realistically laid it out pretty basic for this. And people like went off on him for this. And here we are. It's a simple question. How will the Kris Tyson situation impact MrBeast? And now we know today it's impacted it negatively. Now we know, because that's how this is. Because it's all about me, these narcissistic motherfuckers. And he nailed it a year ago, and it will only continue.
Now, I think even a year ago, were people discussing the link to that artist, or no? I know that over the past few days, it just happens to be coincidence that people are talking about it again. But I don't think that was new information, because people have shown me some old tweets saying, "Oh no, I'm so surprised," and then they show him responding to the artist. But obviously, this guy Sonny did not include that information in there, which I think would have actually been good to add. So.
This is MrBeast is bigger than ever.
Yeah.
His channel is the biggest channel it's ever been. It is doing more viewership than it's ever done. I mean, when you look at its channel's viewership, on any sort of YouTube measurable site, it's really insane how big it is. I mean, it's doing billions of views a month, right? They are printing money from ad revenue, and YouTube will never do anything to prevent them from that. I think in this situation, like, clearly stepping away is the right call. And I think what you're going to see with Kris is they're going to disappear for 6 months. I mean, look, they're fucking rich at this point. If they're not rich, then what do we? Then MrBeast has been, not paying them enough, right? But you got to think that they're going to step away and just disappear for a while and go live their best life. I don't know, Sav. What are your thoughts on this?
So generally, people like that who exhibit poor decision-making skills tend to also be bad in other aspects of their life. If he was smart financially, then he's set, because then he can just invest in stocks and just make money that way, and literally still participate in society and still be a danger and whatever. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I think it's concerning that MrBeast doesn't feel like making a statement. They're obviously discussing with their lawyers what to do, and it's very obvious that Lava making the statement that he did actually caused more problems for them, because Lava obviously was not acting with a lawyer. Lava was obviously didn't reach out to them. He just decided to confirm it. So this was the most rational choice now to have Kris step away. But does that mean that he's actually stepping away? Does it mean that he's actually not going to have access to children anymore? I don't know. whatever there should be an investigation. Somebody should check the hard drive and messages and things like that. Just like I still believe that with Dr. Disrespect and any individual who comes out to be inappropriately talking to children, there should be a full and transparent investigation. That's it. And I don't know if there will. I don't think realistically there will be. I don't know. I would love to be wrong.
Well, I'll say this. You know, the response to this has been, you know, I said the response to the initial tweet from Kris Tyson, it's been ratioed a couple times already. This is from this person says, "You belong in jail." 15,000 likes compared to 13,000.
What is the first response there? He's not a pedo? Are you kidding me?
Right. People are still out there defending, which is just amazing.
Edgy jokes hentai is not an edgy joke. If a child knows that an adult has a hentai addiction, that is not a normal conversation to have with a child.
Of course not, because you're sane, savvy.
I keep forgetting that's a problem these days.
Yes. And here is this person, by the way, this next person has 847 followers here. 847. It just says, "Prison for you, pedo." They've ratioed him with 23,000 likes.
Good.
But nothing's going to change until something changes. I think that's the most important thing. Something has to change here. Yeah. Some action has to be taken. It's nuts.
The best possible outcome in my mind would be, and this will never happen, all platforms change the way they advertise their goddamn apps. YouTube is not shown as 18 plus despite its peer-to-peer communication. Twitter is 17 plus with parental consent, I guess, allowing somebody younger, but it should be 18 plus. This is all based off of what America considers an adult.
Right.
Personally, I think it should be 25 plus today. But what do I know?
Listen, I got to be honest, I don't disagree with you on that. You know, the idea of 25, right? I think there's a lot of things that should be raised. Voting age, you know, like, my God, there's so much there that you know, like, people say, "Oh, you're still a kid." Like, being 18, you're still a kid. You're technically an adult, but you're an idiot, right? You're an idiot at 18 years old. So whatever. All right. Mercenary came in with the 10 and says, "I wish it was all about money. From what I've seen, and it terrifies me, is that there is a cult-like group of people out there that want to make humanity androgynous. I've encountered some of them. Scary." Thanks, Mercenary. Nathan says, "What happened is stupid people get access to advanced psychological and medical terms via the internet that they began to use and try to sound smart without truly understanding what they're saying."
The other issue is self-diagnosing. The Tumblr crew love to do that. Suddenly everybody is autistic and has ADHD. And instead of saying, "Oh, maybe it's just my diet and lack of moving around," I'm just going to self-diagnose based off of WebMD. Now you have to be nice to me. Fuck off.
JJ came in and says, "They call you transphobic to excuse bad behavior." Insert name here says, "Hassan also got angry at MrBeast for curing blindness because he didn't use the government. Give me a break." Dimmy followed up with his last super chat for now, sending what I've seen so far to the FBI. Cyber tip line now. I've seen enough. Torgo came in and says, "If you hear dog whistles, you're the dog." Mercenary says, to follow up, "These people hate the idea of birth." Brian followed with the $20 super chat. Says, "Kris abandons his family, plays the victim. Kris grooms his minor fans, plays the victim. What a disgusting POS." Preach, Brian. Koa came in and says, "I'm not a father, but when my brother allowed me to hold my niece for the first time, anyone who harmed this kid will get murked, was my immediate first thought. This is wrong on so many levels." As a father, oof, man, you want to see me go DEFCON, man, you approach a kid. Descartes came in and says, "Dark triad, Machiavellian, psychopathy, narcissistic." Albert says, follow up from man Chrissy Mayer exposed corn star Asa Akira and comedian David Coe for supporting stat. Okay, all right, thank you.
Statutory, yeah.
Okay. Sweet Potato Night says Chris's son lost his father to the woke mind virus. Elon lost his son too. This has to stop. Too many casualties.
I don't know
Did he
the Elon Musk story because that wasn't. He only just recently talked about it. I didn't realize. Did he have a son commit suicide? Is that what?
No, his son is now a woman, and if you call him by his son's name, he says a dead name. It's a dead name. He said, well, if it's a dead name, then they're dead. You know, so my son got killed by the woke mind virus.
I thought he had a daughter who didn't like him. Is it two kids or is it the same kid?
No, it's his son who is now a daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Albert came in and says, wouldn't it be a weird coincidence if I won the lottery and accidents started happening? That would be so crazy. Yeah, Albert, that would be crazy. Good luck with that. Don't, hey, we're here if you win the lottery. HP Lovecraft's Matt Cat says, Prison 42 did a video on Kris talking to a 13-year-old 1 month ago. This may explain why he wiped his social media 1 month ago. Prison may be on the show tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. That's the guy the video that got passed around yesterday that really kind of exposed a lot of this stuff. So, and Mr. Fantastic Fox says, amazing people like Pokemon, dead quiet with Kris Tyson, but was noisy with Dr. Disrespect, as if they're picking and choosing who should be outed. Maybe. And Ian Pod says, I agree with Mercenary. Cult behavior doesn't care about financial losses, only the plague-like spread of their twisted beliefs. Thank you, Ian. And Nezanik says, I'm starting to think Mama Max was onto something with hashtag pick a side YouTube. Not saying he's a good guy, though. Thanks, Nezanik. And we'll finish with this one from Master Gawa. It says, in the name of protecting the weak, we broke the laws of nature. Thus, we've been punished. There are few strong remaining as society cries for protection from everything. Return to natural selection. Thank you, Master Gawa. And thank everybody for popping in. Okay, so we're going to be on Tuesday night's main event here in like less than an hour over at the Geeks and Gamers. Are you going to be on that today, Saf?
Yay, yeah. I got to go eat, though.
Yeah, I know. So get out of here. Hey, Saf, thanks for joining me. We'll catch you later, okay? All right. We'll see you. But all right. See you in a little bit. Okay, so everyone go check out Savvy's channel. I'll put the link obviously in the down below. But yeah, just a real quick extra hour today. We were talking about this. I wanted to continue talking about it now. Appreciate you guys popping into this kind of special edition that we had going on today, talking about this nonsense. And I realized I got fired up, and I will not apologize for that. I will not apologize for getting fired up when it comes to this stuff, because this is something that should not be happening, and it is. And if you're on board with this nonsense, get the fuck out. I got no time for you. And the only time I do have is a fist to your teeth in Minecraft. With that said, guys, appreciate you guys having a great day. Once again, I'm going to be over on the Tuesday night's main event show here in just a few minutes. You'll see me there for about an hour or so. I'm sure we're going to dig into this more as we finish up with Girardi came in and says, at 12 years old, I was shown corn by a teacher. What? That began a lifelong struggle with such content. Guys, there's biblical justice for his actions. Wow, Girardi, that is crazy and sad. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, man. That sucks. All right, if you guys would like to see more streams like this in the future and they just randomly out in the afternoon based off of things that happen, or maybe an evening show, let me know. Appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are great. Once again, I'll be live over on Tuesday night's main event here in just a little bit. We did have a video going up, went up a little bit earlier. Make sure you guys go watch that. It was Keemstar's reaction to this. He was on the show earlier talking about all the nonsense and how he has a direct, very personal relationship with everything that's going on right now. So I encourage you guys to watch it. It is, let's see, how long is it? It's about 15 minutes long. It's a good video to watch, and you get to hear his very personal perspective on this. With that said, guys, have a great day. I'll catch you guys later on. Remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got to go get it. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Fatality.
Oh, here, I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself.
Fatality.
Thanks, Blabs. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do this.